Hello Dan Ampney. We're going to do the squirrel tutorial today. I know a few of you did this when everything was sort of really locked down and there was only a few people at school. So, but the people that were at home didn't do it because we did it through a Zoom. So, but it's always good to recap and stuff. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to draw this little squirrel. This one here. I use a reference image. And what we will need for this is paper, pencil, our black pen again, and then colours. I've got some yellow, orange, red, brown, black, and I've got that purple out again, which I don't think I used in the Zoom, but it worked really well with the fox, so we're going to try it in this one. So we are going to make a start. I will send over the worksheet so that you can have a look at that as well. Like we've done with all of our tutorials, we are going to remember to use our pencils really lightly so that we can make changes if we need to. So basic shape number one is what will become the kind of neck, head, neck and body shape. Okay, so a circle to start with, and then a bit more of an oval shape here. That will be the body. So this will form the kind of shoulders, and then this will be the main body. So that is basic shape number one. Remember, you can see how I'm doing it. I'm doing really light movements with my pencil. All of this will be easily rubbed out then. I'm not pressing hard with my pencil at all. I'm going to put in another circle that ever so slightly overlaps this top one here. And then another little one here. Again, that ever so slightly, it overlaps quite a lot actually on this one. And then that will help us work out where our nose is going to be for our squirrel. So this should be basic shape number two. So we've got two circles stacked and then an oval and a little circle here. Right, the next step is to use those and start putting in a few more bits of detail now. So like I said, this is going to tell us where our nose is. So if you follow this line down, it gives us a little idea about where our nose is going to be for our little squirrel. I pop some little ears on top of his head there. Just little triangle shapes. And then the squirrel that I've drawn him kind of holding a little nut. So using this is our sort of neck and shoulders. So I'm going to put a couple of lines coming out of here. This will form his arm, and then another line behind there, which will be that other arm, his right arm on the other side. So we will only be able to see a little bit of that. And then starting to think about his back legs as well. So obviously they're pretty powerful climbers, aren't they, squirrels? So they've got really big back legs. So we're going to put in our lines here to help us work out where his back legs are going to be. That will kind of form his tummy. And then some big kind of sausage shapes really for his feet. And that one poking out from behind. They've got quite big long feet. You can't really see very easily on this one, but that's the top of his foot and it goes all the way underneath there. Okay, so we should have something that looks a little bit like this. Next we're going to put in some detail with the eye. Now it's a really nice, I'm trying to think of what the shape would be. So we can use, I always use the little nose and then think about where the eye would be in proportion to the nose. I've pop a little circle in there, but we've got really beautiful kind of ellipse shaped eyes with a little eyeliner around as well. So I started with a circle, put in some little details there. When we fill in the eye, I think I put this on the worksheet, we must remember, like we've done with all the others, this little glint with the light is super important to make it look like the light is catching his eye. The next stage then is to add in his little paws. So again, really simple for those. Just round off the end, and I've put him holding a little acorn. So give some ideas of claws. And then we need to put in the big, really big important part, which is our squirrel's big bushy tail. So that is going to come all the way from down here by his bottom and then up round his back. I use really loose lines for this because when we do the colouring, the squirrel's tail, as you can see on this one, is really bushy. So keep it really loose with your pencil. That'll make it a bit easier to do the detail. Okay, I think we should be ready. We should be about here with our drawing, ready to get our pen and start building up the detail a little bit more. So if you've made nice light marks with your pencil, this should be pretty easy to go over. And again, we don't want to keep all the lines. This is where we choose which ones we want to keep. I'm going to go around his little ears. So you see I've just gone over the top of where those two, I can give a little idea that that's his other little cheek behind there. And we don't want to go over this line here with the neck. And what we do want to do is make him look a bit fluffy, fuzzy and furry. So I'm using little marks with my pen to give the impression that he's all furry. Now I'm going to fill in his eye and just make sure that I leave that little glint in the top. Put in a few extra little details so you can have some little whiskers. Got quite hairy little ears. And then this beautiful bushy tail. Again, like I said, really light pen strokes. Tells everyone about what sort of texture this tail is. So this is our squirrel. And when you're ready, go in with your rubber and get rid of all that pencil that you don't need anymore. So we should be left with something like this. With our fur texture, with our squirrel, again, I've got lots of different colours that I want you to look at really blending in to get your squirrel fur looking really realistic. And on here, what I've done is put some directional arrows, because as I've said on all the other ones where we've got fur on animals, we have to use our pencil in the direction of the fur, and then it starts to look more realistic. But we also need to think about the different lengths of fur. So round his head and his face, he's got really quite short, coarse fur, and then round his tail, it's really long and fluffy. So in order to do that, and he's quite pale around his nose and around his eyes, we've got that little pale section. So I'm going to use my pencils really lightly, leaving a little bit of a eyeline around his eye and around his little nose there as well. And then just layering it up so we've got some nice red tones. This is our red squirrels. It'd be a good quiz question if anyone could find out where is the only place within the United Kingdom you can find red squirrels living in the wild. So just putting one colour very lightly on top of another, building it up to get that little fur texture, always moving in the direction that the fur would be growing in. So we need to do our blue bunnies next, and then we can start making our Down Upney shield with all of our houses. So I'm going quickly now, but you guys take your time. I'm just going to show you how to do the tail fur. Do the rest of the body exactly as we did the face. Lots of little strokes, lots of little layers, just building it up where you want it darker, and making sure that if you do put down any colour around their face and their cheeks and their eyes, just keep those a few bits a bit paler. It starts to look a bit more realistic. Right, tail fur then. What we want to do with this tail fur is to make it look really fluffy. So just like we did with the pen, we want to put in really long pencil strokes. Again, moving in the direction of the fur, but always making sure that we kind of get some overlapping as well, because we don't want all the hair to be all straight in one direction. So moving just diagonals, overlap a bit. And I'm just going to go in with some orange. And with some little red tones as well. You'll find that some colours are a lot darker than others, so just experiment a little bit. And then in the darkest areas, so in the areas where we've got the tail is closest to the body, under the arms, around the top of the back legs, and just around the edges of the ears, Want to make sure we've got some really dark tones in there, just to make him look a bit more realistic. So I would put some darker colours around here as well. Just around the bottoms of his arms, back of his head and his ears. That's where you can get in there with your purpley colours as well, which work really, really nicely with the oranges, just to help create a bit of depth with your colours. There we go. I know he's not finished, but I think you get the idea. Keep going with yours, and you should have your lovely red squirrel ready to join your other drawings. Super. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that one. Blue bunny's up next. Bye guys.